Good morning, students. In today's class, we'll discuss the Schrodinger time independent equation application. Right. The last class we just started our the last class with the right. So the application of Schrodinger time independent equation. We are dealing with this, right? So in the last class, we studied about Schrodinger time dependent and time independent equation. In today's class, we'll discuss the time independent equation application. And later section, we'll just discuss about quantum computing also. Right. So where actually we can use a Schrodinger independent equation for application. The application is what we are dealing with is particle in a potential box. Particle in a potential box. Now this is the application, right? So we are dealing with now particle in the potential box is one of the application of Schrodinger time independent equation. So let us see that what is this potential box. Let us consider this is a potential box, and this potential box is having a minimum value as 0 and the maximum value, the width is L. Now the limits of this potential box is infinity. Let's take this limits as infinity, and the potential inside the box will be equal to 0, right? Since now there is a condition that we have to use here, V of x will be equal to the potential of the particle will be equal to, right? There are two conditions, right? The particle is x, right? So the particle may lie in between 0 to L. Now V of x is equal to 0. So V of x value is 0. First value is 0, and the next one is it may be infinity elsewhere. See, the first application of Schrodinger time independent equation is particle in a potential box. In the particle in the potential box, see, we have just drawn a potential box. Inside that potential box, we are having the length or the width of the potential box is minimum value 0 to L. And this is the infinity dimension, and this is what infinity, the limit is infinity. So the potential is having the limit as infinity. So the potential of the particle is equal to 0 when x is lying between 0 to L, right? Sits elsewhere, right? So it may be infinity elsewhere. So this is the condition that we need to understand the Schrodinger time independent application, right? Now, what actually we want to do with this application, right? Now, this is a particle, right? This is C. Okay. So now, what actually we are dealing is that we need to calculate the value of energy value, that is E. As we said that these Schrodinger equations will give us the information regarding the energy of the system or energy of the particle. In the same way, what we are doing here is that we need to find out the energy of the particle, and also in the later section we also calculate the wave function of this particle mathematically, right? So now for that, what we have to do, let us consider a particle. Let us consider a particle. See, let us consider the particle. So let us consider the particle, right? And right, it is residing in inside the potential box. So let us consider the particle in a potential box. In a potential box having length L of infinite height. Now the height is infinite height, right? That is infinity. Infinity. Now, so how we are can calculate this energy of the system by using the Schrodinger time independent equation. So now by using Schrodinger time independent equation. So in the last class, we discussed the Schrodinger time independent equation. So what is that Schrodinger time independent equation? You are already aware of this, right? That is given by dou r psi by dou x square plus 2m by h bar square into e minus v, right, into psi is equal to 0, right? So this can also be written as dou square psi by dou x square plus 8 pi square m by h square e minus v into psi is equal to 0. Now this is equation number 1. Now this is equation number 1. We already know by seeing this potential box. We can write v is equal to 0. So what will happen? Dou square psi by dou x square plus 2me, right, by h bar square psi is equal to 0. Here we are just replacing this v as 0. So when you just replace v is equal to 0, this will be your value. Now let k square is equal to 2me by h bar square. So implies what will happen is that dou square psi by dou square psi by, here we write dou square psi by dou x square plus k square psi is equal to 0. Right. Now this is what equation number 2. Now see what we have considered. See, we are dealing with the application of Schrodinger time independent equation. In that we are just calculating the particle in the potential box. So particle in the potential box, how it will be seen with the figure. So we have just considered this potential box. Inside the potential box, we are having the potential inside the potential box is 0, and the limits are the length of the box is, right, L. So let us consider a particle in a potential box having length L of infinity of infinite height, that is infinity. By using the Schrodinger time independent equation, what we are doing is that we just calculating by using the Schrodinger time independent equation, we'll calculate the energy of the particle. Dou square psi by dou x square plus 2m by h bar square e minus v into psi is equal to 0. Now this will be the equation number 1. So v is equal to 0. So as we know that v is equal to 0 from the figure, so we have just written dou square psi by dou x square plus 2me psi by h bar square is equal to 0. So what is 2me by h bar square can also be written as k square. We are just replacing this value 2me by h bar square with k square. So now the equation will become dou square psi by dou x square plus k square psi is equal to 0. This is equation number 2. Now again you are having the information, right? So whenever we are dealing with the second order differential equation, the second order differential equation will have a solution, right? So this can also be written as d square psi by d square can also be written as capital D square k square, right, into k square, right? This is equal into psi is equal to 0. Now this is equation as it is. This is equation number 2. Now I have just written this equation 2 as d square plus k square into psi is equal to into e to the power of minus I kx. You can just rewrite this, right? Psi is equal to, right? So what we are doing here is that we just calculating this size. Psi is equal to. So we are just what we'll do is that we multiply 2i to this equation. 2ia. We take common a, e to the power of ikx, e to the power of ikx minus e to the power of minus ikx, right? Divided by 2i. Right? We are just multiplying and dividing by 2i on both sides. Right? So you can just see. We just multiplied and divided the above equation with 2i. So let us see. So let us equate in psi is equal to 2i a into e to the power of ikx minus e to the power of minus ikx by 2i. So what we are doing here is that psi is equal to 2ia into e to the power of ikx. So you can just remember this. This is actually the sine hyperbolic function, right? This is a sine hyperbolic function. So what we can write, psi is equal to 2ia into sine kx, right? So here this since it is a formula of sine hx e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x by 2. So this is what the sine hyperbolic function. So we have written psi is equal to ia sine kx. So what you can do is that let instead of writing 2ia, we are just writing let n is equal to 2ia. So what I'm writing here is that instead of 2ia, you can just write psi is equal to n into sine kx. Right? So psi is equal to n into sine kx. Now this is what let us consider. This is equation number 3. So psi is equal to n sine kx. Now what we are doing is that we are applying the second boundary condition. The second boundary condition is what? Psi is equal to 0 and x is equal to l. Right? So now we just replace this second boundary condition to this above equation number 3. So what will happen is that 0 is equal to n into sine k x is l. So sine theta, you already know, sine theta is equal to 0 when this theta will be equal to integral multiple of, that is called kl is integral multiple of n pi. So when the sine will be equal to 0, when this kl, the theta will be equal to n pi. So theta is equal to integral multiple of, right, pi. So now in the same way here, theta means what? KL is there. So instead of that theta, what I'm writing KL. So you can just see this is theta, and the theta you are having a term called KL. So in the same way, we are writing KL is equal to n pi. Now implies what will happen is that your K will become n pi by L. Here everybody, we just started with our equation with b square plus k square into psi is equal to 0. Let the solution of the equation 2 will be, this is second order differential equation. So this second order differential equation will have the solution psi is equal to a into e to the power of ikx plus b into e to the power of minus ikx. So now since a and b are constants, so we are applying some first boundary condition. You can just refer the figure, right? For this, you can just refer the figure. In the figure, it is written psi is equal to 0. So first boundary condition, when there is no wave function, it means that there is no particle. So x is equal to 0, x I is equal to 0. We are just replacing it. That is called boundary condition. Replacing with this solution, psi is 0, a into e to the power of 0 plus b into e to the power of 0. So a plus b is equal to 0, and b can also be written as minus a. So x psi is equal to a into e to the power of ikx minus a into e to the power of minus ikx. So we are just multiplying and dividing by 2i. 2i, psi is equal to 2ia e to the power of ikx minus e to the power of minus ikx by 2i. So we are just multiplying, dividing 2i. Why we are doing so? Because it is in the form of a sine hyperbolic function. The sine hyperbolic function sine hx can also be written as e to the power of x minus e to the power of minus x by 2. Now this is what you have studied in intermediate. So that is the reason that we are just writing that psi is equal to 2ia sine kx. So let the 2ia is nothing but n. So 2ia, n is equal to 2ia. So psi is equal to, instead of 2ia, I'm just writing it as n sine kx. This is equation number 3. So we are applying second boundary condition. What is the second boundary condition? Psi is equal to 0 at x is equal to l. So 0 is equal to n sine kl. Now k is nothing but n pi by l. Now kl is equal to n pi, k is equal to n pi by l. Now what we got, so I think that you got until this you got the derivation. Now what we are doing here is that now what we are doing here is that we got this equation. Now this equation, your psi equation, psi of n of x will be equal to n sine n pi x. K means what here? N pi x by L, right? So we already know that, we know that we are 2m, right? 2m by So you had the information, right? This is what 2me by h bar square is equal to k square we have just considered, right? So here, since h bar square is nothing but h bar is what? H by 2 pi. So implies h bar square will become what? H square by 4 pi square. So we are just writing, right? 2me by h square by 4 pi square. Now this is equal to k square, implies this is equal to 8 pi square me by me by h square, which is equal to k square. Now we need to find out this value of e, right? K square. Now e will be equal to h square k square by 8 pi square m. Right? You can just read this h square, right? H square, see, h square k square. So k is what? N pi by L. You already had it since k is nothing but n pi by L. So what will happen? K square is nothing but n square pi square by L square. So what you can write? E is equal to h square n square pi square by 8m L square. Now this pi square is there. So pi square get cancelled. So E will be equal to n square h square by 8 ml square. Now this is the value what we got, the energy value, right? This is the energy value what we got, right? N square h square by 8 ml square. Understood, everybody? So now this equation, you can see this. This is called the. This can also be written as E suffix n, right? Since n is equal to, you can write n is this give the allowed values of energy, right? En is nothing but the allowed energy values of B for different values of n. So what will happen is that we just substitute n is equal to 1, 2, 3, and so on. Right, so if I just substitute, right, E1 will be equal to h square by 8 ml square, 8 ml square, comma. So E2, so n is equal to 2. What will happen? E2 will be equal to, right, 4 h square by 8 ml square. Now, in the same way, you can just proceed it for n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, and so on. Understood, everybody? So now this is what we got the energy value. So now this is the value what you got, and this is called the energy. And what is the n is equal to 1 is known as, that is called the 0 point energy. Now what we have just considered n is equal to 2ia, right? If you can remember, right? So we can just find out what is actually n is equal to. We just consider n is equal to 2ia. What is this n value will be equal to mathematical. So that we'll see. Sin of x is equal to n. Again, I'm repeating. Sin n pi x by n. We know that 2me by h bar square is equal to k square. So h bar square is nothing but h bar is h by 2 pi. H bar square is h square by 4 pi square. Now we just substituted it and we got e is equal to h square 8 pi square m. K is nothing but n pi by L. So k square is equal to n square pi square by L. So we just replace it and we got En is equal to n square h square by 8 ml square. So now this is the value what we got for the energy value, allowed energy values. If we just replace this, n is nothing but 1, you will get a particular value. These are allowed energy values which are there in the potential box. The particle will have different energy values in different energy states, right? N is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3. So n is equal to 1, E1 is known as 0 point energy. N is equal to 2, first excited state energy, and so on. This will be repeated. Now we need to calculate what is actually n is equal to. So now that we'll actually calculate now. Now how we'll calculate this n? So by using the normalization condition, what is the normalization condition? We have seen in the wave function properties, right? So there is a normalization condition. So n is equal to 0 to, what is the limit? We are having the potential box limit 0 to n. So mod of in one dimension, right? First we'll consider this is one dimension. So one dimension will be equal to 1. So psi is nothing but you are having information, right? Psi is here. Psi is nothing but implies psi is n sine n pi x by here. So now we just replay it. N is equal to 0 to L. So here it will become right here this condition here you will find that this is what n square sine square n pi x by L, right? So now this will be equal to 1. Now if you can just see, this is actually coming to be the basic mathematical formula sine square theta, right? So the sine square theta is also can be rewritten as, right, 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. So here we are just substituting that value. Here n will be equal to psi is equal to, right? This is equal to psi is equal to this value is, right? Psi is equal to, so psi is equal to, right? Psi is equal to what we got? N square taking out 0 to L. Now this is 1 minus cos 2 n pi x, right, by, right, 2. This is what we'll get, right, 2 pi n pi x pi L by, right, 1 minus 2. So we are just taking this outside, right, 2 outside. Okay, again I will rewrite this. Now this can also be written at what I told you, just this is equal to psi is equal to n square by 2. This, we just write in the short form, right, 0 to L. This will become 1 minus cos 2 n pi x by L, right? Now this is into dx, where this value is what? Dx. Now okay, so now this can also be written as, so in the next one, we started with this, right? Using normalization condition, we need to calculate what is n. N can be equal to 0 to L, psi of psi square dx is equal to 1. So psi is equal to n sine n pi x by L. So what we are doing is that we are just using the normalization condition in order to calculate this n square. 0 to L n square sine square n pi x by L, which is equal to 1. So now this is actually implies, right? So 0 to L n square sine square and sine square pi x by L is equal to 1. So now this can be written as 1 minus cos 2 theta by 2. So I'll just replace that with n square by 2. I'm taking out, so 1 minus cos 2 n pi x by L into the x, right? Now this is what we got. So we need to calculate the value of n now. So how we are calculating the value of n? We'll just see. See the basic mathematical trigonometric formula, if you can, if you know, that is enough, right? So what we are doing is that, again just I'm writing this n square by 2. Separately I'm dividing, right? 0 to L, right? 0 to L, 1 into dx minus 0 to L. 0 to L. Separately we are just dividing it, so integrating it, cos 2n pi x by L into dx, right? Separately we are just doing so. So this is equal to 1, right? This is actually square bracket. So now this n square by 2 is for both this and this. So you already know that n square by 2. Now this will become x. 1 into dx is x, and the limits, lower limit is 0 and upper limit is L. Now minus, we can just take this as again in the square bracket. So you can just take this in a square bracket, right? So this is right. Separately we can just write it down now, and this value, see, this value will be equal to 0. Just integrate it, we'll get that 0 value, right, which is equal to 1. So this entire value will cause is a substitute, you'll get value as 0. Now, so what is that? N square upper limit minus lower limit. So instead of x, you can just substitute up here upper limit, and 0 will become 0. So n square L by 2 is equal to 1. So here n square is equal to 2 by, you can see n square is 2 will go this side and L be there. So N is equal to under root 2 by L. So we got this value of N, right, in our dimension, what we consider in the starting end. So we got this as N is equal to root 2 by L. Employees, this sign the side, that is what a wave function in one dimension can be written as root 2 by L. We just call this as wave function. This is equal to N sine, right? N sine, right? N sine. This is sine N pi x by L, right? So this is the value of wave function we got in our what we can say particle in a potential box. This is we required. So we got the wave function and we got the energy of the allowed energy values of the particle by using the Schrodinger time independent equation. So we can say that by using Schrodinger time independent equation, we will get this value. So we will get the energy of the given particle and also the wave function of the particle. So right. So with this, we'll end today's session, and you already having the information, right? This is the last topic of chapter 1. So you can just see the syllabus. We have completed our mid-1 syllabus. So in the next class, we'll start the revision part, right? Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you for your patience.